Hi everybody, I'm Emily. I'm one of the designers here at the Quilted Cow, and I'm going to show you today the 2025 Back Home Pillow Series. So the Back Home Pillow Series is a pillow that we are making the actual pillow for, and then every month we will do a different accessory to go along with the pillow that you can snap on and off of it. So this is the pillow that I'm going to be showing you today. I'm super excited about it. First, though, let's thank our sponsors. We're sponsored by Husqvarna Viking Machines and Creative Grids Cutting Mats and Rulers. So let's get started. All right, so this is the Back Home Pillow Series. This is the pillow that we are using for 2025. Now, if you were with us in 2024 and you did the Back Home Pillow Series of that year, you will notice that this is a larger pillow, and so a larger accessory is going to fit on it. I'm really excited about this. It is a super cute pillow. Now, what you can do is you can head on over to our website and grab yourself a kit. The kit is going to include all of the fabric that you need to do a quilted pillow. We will offer for a limited time some different colors of the pillow itself. So check out our website for all of the different colors of the pillows that you can get, and then grab yourself a kit and a postcard pattern if you would like. The postcard patterns will be offered as well separately. If you want the postcard pattern, then grab that, and then let's get started making this pillow. The first thing we're gonna do is make the pillow front. So the pillow front is a quilted pillow front, if you wish to quilt it. Now, you're gonna get a piece of muslin, and then you're also going to get a piece of the fabric that you are going to use to quilt it. You will have to provide whatever batting that you want to use. You can use 1 layer of cotton batting, 2 layers of cotton batting, you can use wool batting, you can use fusible fleece, whatever that you want to use and however fluffy you want to make the quilting. You can also quilt this in any way that you like or not quilt it at all. It's completely up to you if you don't want to quilt it at all. I do recommend quilting it, however, because you are going to be snapping on and unsnapping the accessory from the front, and having that extra layer, those extra layers there, that's going to help make sure that those snaps stay in place as you need them. So if you don't quilt it, then you might figure out a way to put some interfacing or something behind it just to make it a little bit more sturdy as you go along. But the quilting, it just looks so good. All right, now when I quilted this, I went ahead and I took my ruler and I did about a 45-degree angle across the top, and I just made 2-inch lines, and I used my chalk marker to just go through and mark 2-inch lines as I went along, and just marked those one direction and then turned it 45 degrees at the other direction, and I marked all of those lines before I started quilting. The other thing that I like to use, especially whenever I'm quilting something like this, is the Quilter Select Free Fuse powder. What you're going to do is you're going to take your cotton batting, and I like to go ahead and fuse the muslin to the back of it. So I'll put it all over my cotton batting, put my muslin down, take your iron, and 4 seconds with a hot iron is going to fuse that. It's going to turn this powder into a glue-like substance. And so it's going to help to glue your backing to the batting, and then turn it over. Make sure that you've fused that completely. Make sure you've melted all that glue, because whenever you flip it over, if you're not careful and you haven't gotten it all, some of that powder is going to fall off onto your ironing surface, and you don't want that to happen. So once you turn it over, go ahead and fuse the top down to it. Now this is a temporary fuse. It's not a permanent fuse. So make sure that you don't tear it apart, you don't pull it apart or anything before you start quilting it. But if you do, you can always take your iron over it again and fuse it again. If you don't have it perfectly placed, or you find a pleat or something like that in there, you can actually pull it off and then refuse it down, and it will be nice and flat. So take this to your machine, quilt it however you want. Don't quilt it whatever you want to do with this front. The next thing we need to do is trim it down to size. Now you'll notice my batting and my backing are a little bit bigger than my front. I went ahead and kind of left the pieces large and oversized. Your pattern is going to tell you to go ahead and do 21-inch squares. If you leave it a little bit oversized, you can still trim it off however you need to. But we're going to trim this to a 20.5-inch front. So if you have a 20.5-inch square ruler, pull that baby out, trim it all down, and you're good to go. But if you're like me and you don't have it, what you're going to do is you're going to line it up on your mat. Make sure that on this side You have plenty of room. Get it as straight as you can. I'm kind of lining up the bottom of my cut on the front fabric, just kind of lining it up, kind of making it a little bit straight. And then I'm going to make sure that I have my pillow front fabric there, and then take it over, count out 20.5 inches, and make sure that I have everything kind of goes over and I can square this up nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to 20.5 inches. I now have 20.5 inches square and super excited. It looks awesome and super neat. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where I want to put my finger snaps, because we need to add the finger snaps before we actually add the backing to the pillow. So we're going to come in 4 3/4 from the side and from the bottom. So there's the 4 3/4 mark, and move that down to 4 3/4. And we've got that nice and square. Grab our pin, and this mark is going to get cut through, so it doesn't matter what marking utensil you use. I like to use the friction pin, but you can use permanent, you can use Sharpie. Just make sure you don't Sharpie the rest of your fabric, just this one little dot. All right, so this time, and I've talked in the past about using this little hole punch for this, for our finger snaps, cutting our finger snaps. However, this time, all this fabric is not going to fit through there, and you're not going to be able to use this hole punch. So we do need to find something else to make our holes with. So let me go ahead and show you. This is called the Precision Seam Ripper. The Precision Seam Ripper is super nice to use because it's got this curved blade, and so then you can just poke it through. If you decided to use a regular seam ripper, you can use that, that's okay, but sometimes whenever you're poking it through, it will actually pull the threads, and so then you might get a pull and you might see where one of those threads is pulled through and it'll make a line, and you don't necessarily want to see that on your fabric. So I don't always recommend a regular seam ripper. I have used it before. You just have to be really careful whenever you go through that you don't pull the threads, that it actually cuts through or it moves those threads out of the way as you're cutting through. But you need to cut a hole to put your finger snaps in. So you can grab one of these small mini mats, and they are really nice because they will protect your big expensive mat from putting a really deep cut through that mat. And then you take your Precision Seam Ripper, I just put it on top of that hole, and I just start cutting through all the way through the fabric. And then you can gently lift it and just push it a little bit. But you want to make sure you get about 1/8 of an inch of that blade coming through the other side of the fabric. All right, so let's get these snaps installed. Now, I'm going to find our holes, and there's that one. So we're going to take it from the back side with the cap. We're going to put the post of this cap through the back side of the fabric. And then I like to just use my fingernails to help push the fabric and the batting and everything all around that. If by chance you didn't quite get everything cut, like all the fabric, there's a couple of threads maybe still stuck there, you can grab this seam ripper here, this Precision Seam Ripper, and just kind of give a little trim to a couple of those extra threads. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the socket side of the snap. Now there's a socket and a stud, and those two are what go together to snap whenever you snap something onto it. So we're going to take the sockets and we're going to put them on the top. So I'm going to take the socket side, and you just push the back side of that onto the post of your cap until it gives a little snap, just like that. You're going to continue doing this to all 4 of these snap placements. Once again, put the sockets on the top, the studs on the bottom, and that way, whenever we make our accessories, we're going to do the opposite snaps that will snap into those. So I'm going to go ahead and finish installing these snaps, and then I'm going to show you how to put this pillow, finish putting this pillow together, and I will be right back when I'm ready to show you that. Okay, so I have my snaps installed. Now it's time to do the backing pieces. So the backing pieces were cut to size, and then all you do with these, I'll show you this real quick, is you're going to take it and you're going to fold it in half. So it's going to be 20.5 inches wide by however long. You're gonna fold it in half so that you keep that 20.5 inches this way. Wrong sides together. You're gonna press this fold and then top stitch down along this fold. Now you can choose to do an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch top stitch, whatever you want to do for your top stitch. Top stitch all the way down that fold. Do that for both of these backing pieces. So now it's going to be a fully lined backing piece that you're going to be putting on this pillow. And it's a lot nicer, and it feels nicer. So what we're going to do with these, grab one of your backing pieces, put that fold on the inside towards the middle, and line up your raw edges on the top and bottom and on the left side. So I've got that all nice and lined up there. And then I'm going to take the other backing piece and put that on top. Now, once again, both of my socket snaps are at the top, and both of the stud snaps are at the bottom. So make sure that that stays that way. Otherwise, your backing piece, the opening could be sideways. You don't want that opening to be sideways necessarily. So to make that opening up and down like we want it to, make sure the sockets are up top, the studs are at the bottom. Grab that other backing piece and line up your raw edges on the right side. And this is going to overlap about 4 inches, 3.5 to 4 inches. So you're going to have that nice overlap there. And you do want it to overlap like that. So once you get that all lined up, you're going to grab your clips or pins. I prefer to use clips. And this is kind of thin enough that you can use the smaller Wonder Clips. If you've got the big ones, you can grab those and use them. So I'm just going to make sure that everything stays lined up, and I'm going to clip all the way around. And then once I get this clipped, then I'm going to sew it together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. You do not have to leave any kind of opening for turning, because this is our opening for turning. So make sure that you sew all the way around, 1/4 inch seam allowance. One of the things I would recommend, because you may or may not need to change this pillow out, if you need to wash this cover for the pillow, then whenever you pull it out, you want to reinforce where the overlaps are for your backing pieces. So go ahead and backstitch at the beginning and end of these backing piece overlaps. And that way it'll just reinforce that area, so that if you do have to remove the pillow, you're not going to accidentally tear it apart while you're doing that. So I'm going to stitch this all the way around, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you about how I like to finish out this pillow. I'll be right back. All right, so I've got it stitched all the way around, back stitched at the beginning and end where these overlaps are. I want to clip the corners. And when you clip the corners, you're just going to clip away some of the excess that's inside of that corner. Do not cut through the seams that you just sewed into here. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a hole in the corner of your pillow, or you got to go back and re-sew it. So just clip the corners, get rid of a little bit of that excess. It'll help make sure that our corners poke out easier. Get rid of that. Now, the last thing I like to do with my pillows is I like to come back and do a zigzag stitch, especially if it's a pillow case like this that I'm going to be switching the pillow out or needing to wash or something. I come back and zigzag and finish out all of my edges all the way around, just a nice zigzag stitch all the way around. That's going to keep those edges from raveling whenever you wash it, whenever you move the pillow in and out, everything like that. It's going to keep you from getting a lot of threads inside, keeps it nice and clean. For now though, I'm going to turn this right side out and show you what this looks like whenever it's turned right side out, and poke out the corners. Just grab yourself the teal thingies, grab a stiletto, whatever you need to help you poke out those corners. All right, so once you get all of these corners all nice and poked out and get it straight, you're going to press it nice and flat. Once you get it pressed nice and flat, you can put your pillow in and you're ready to start adding your accessories. So the accessory that I'm going to add to this is the January 2025 accessory. It is called Sammy Snail. We're going to put a link to the video for the Sammy Snail in the description box below, so check that out. You're going to take this and put your snaps on just like this. And it's going to snap so easily to the pillow. and you can use the Sammy the Snail, however long you want to put that up. We will have a new accessory every month for you to work with. Head on over to our website, look up, it's either going to be listed as Back Home Pillow Series 2025 or 2025 Back Home Pillow Series. There's also the 2024 Back Home Pillow Series that you can go through and find those accessories and pillows. Grab yourself one of those kits as well. But the Back Home Pillow Series will be on our website. You can grab yourself the kit. Once again, the kit is going to include the fabric that you need for the front, the backing, also a piece of muslin so that you can quilt that pillow front. We will have, for a limited time, different colorways available for these pillows so you can choose the color that you want. The pattern and the finger snaps will also be included in your kit, so don't forget that. Also, the postcard pattern will be available sold separately if you want to do the postcard pattern. So grab yourself the kit. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our videos. Make sure that we can continue bringing you this content. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, you wicked cool quilters, good job. You made it to the end. We would like to thank our sponsors, Husqvarna Viking Sewing Machines, Creative Grids, rulers, rotary cutters, and mats, and Wilmington Prints for the beautiful fabrics. Thanks for watching.